It's beginning to look a lot like the Tom and Jerry show.
Oh, the excitement.
We couldn't let the festive season go by without dropping a festive Tom and Jerry Christmas special for our listeners.
Exactly.
As we have done through the years, Tom, we have a Tom and Jerry Christmas special. We've at least one of them. I think one has been lost to the wilds of time.
Were you drunk in one? Were you drunk? I was over at your house. You were drinking cans.
I was drunk at several times. I mean, you got to narrow it down. That's like saying that you got your arm cut off by a chainsaw. What tooth hit you first?
Do you know what? I wonder. Oh, yeah. By the way, this is 2021's Christmas because I've gotten messages in recent times of people listening to our Christmas episodes from other years. And I'm kind of going, what fucking year? Because they say things that I'm supposed to remember. And I don't remember saying any of that shit.
Deny everything, Tom. Deny everything.
So,
But at any rate, here we are for our 2021 Christmas special. You're all very welcome along. We hope you've been religiously listening to the old episodes over and over again, even though we haven't put out a fresh one either. We just need those fucking numbers to go up. So what we need you to do is like set a timer and just wake up in the morning and as you're leaving the house, tell Alexa to play the Tom and Jerry show and let it fucking click all day long.
Hey,
other than that, how are you keeping?
That's not a bad idea actually for today. In case you had the wet bandits outside trying to get in, they just listen to two culty fuckers at the top of their fucking voices trying to get. I knew you'd appreciate that.
The two guys in there drinking McDade's football special.
Holy fuck, Marty Moan is in there? What's that about?
But yeah, we've a Christmas special for the fine listeners of the Tom and Jerry Show podcast. And if this is your first time coming along wondering what the fuck's going on, we may as well introduce ourselves. I'm Jerry McBride, and himself over there is Tom O'Mahony.
Yeah, that's right.
Stand-up comedians of note, and of late, podcasters of high acclaim, Tom.
You know what? People that like it, and I'm happy for that much. I'm very excited. I'm excited for next Halloween, Jerry. I know we're on a Christmas buzz, but when you go rooting in the attic for the old Christmas decorations and whatnot, and you find all and sundry. I found several nice fleeces that I'd completely forgotten. But in between all that, a pair of round spectacles that I can barely remember. I think I did a sketch years ago, had these little round spectacles. Well, I have myself a blue boiler suit. I have myself a little flat cap. And now I have myself a little rounds. Guess who I'm going to be next? Going to episode.
What are you gonna have next Halloween? I'll tell you what we could do, Tom. You dress up as that, right?
Yeah.
I've got a large black hat, a long black overcoat, MMA gloves, wrestling boots.
Oh, you're going to be the Undertaker,
right?
Right. Okay.
And what would you, going as Fred didn't it, then have?
Oh, that is. Jim, I sent Jerry a little gift at the end of our last season because I just saw it and had to get it, and it was of Fred Dibnah. Jim will paint it. A lot of people will know who it is on Instagram. Jim will paint it is the most random notions that you can think up of. Go have a look at him. The people will actually send him like a pink flamingo talking to Rick Mail on the edge of the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, and he will draw it. And somebody had suggested that as Sam and Frodo were heading to whatever Mordor, and the two towers, and Fred Dibnah with a fag hanging out of his mouth was after dropping the two towers.
It's a fantastic print. I'm going to throw it up on the socials, Tom, and thank you very much. That was very thoughtful.
I knew you'd love it. But do you know what? I think you just stumbled on another one. That is like a half day out. Like, how would he depict a half day? Not a full day, because you wouldn't hang out with the Undertaker for a full day because he's no crack. No. Hang out a half day. Let me say bye-bye at lunch.
Yeah.
Have breakfast together, hang out, go to the park, feed the ducks, and
go
then
to the Royal Rumble.
Go to the Royal
So regardless of which, Halloween notwithstanding, awesome Halloween costumes notwithstanding, we are here to talk to you about all things festive, Tom. And what we're going to do today for our fine listeners is do a little bit of a Christmas Carol take on it.
Exactly. I once did play the part of Ebenezer Scrooge in a live action The Christmas Carol. When I say live action, Jerry, I mean live fucking action. You would have actually enjoyed this. It wasn't a play of sorts, but it was in that it was done with actual actors, but it was on a train that went through a forest, and at certain points we met the Ghost of Christmas Past, the Ghost of Christmas Present, and the Ghost of Christmas Future, and it all ended up at this big manor house at the top. And and Marley and whatchamacallit would join us on the train, and people had the shit scared out of them. Like, it was brilliant. It was brilliant.
And like, was this recorded, or was this like you're doing like live theater for the people on the train?
Live theater for the people on the train. Yeah. So we did it for a week. It was the most insane thing that I've ever done. I froze my stones off, but it was actually great crack because it was so ridiculous. And they went for it. Everybody really went for it because it was going up through this creepy forest and they had it lit nicely and they'd fake snow sprayed everywhere. It was cool.
I can't meet that story, Tom, but I can tell you a similar one. One year we took the kids on the Santa Express, which is for the Railway Preservation Society of Ireland, run a steam train and it'll like run to Bray and back. And Santa comes on the train and hands out fucking toys and what have you.
Fred Dibnah would be way better. At least driving it.
Way better.
Granted, you'd be the only person excited by it.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh, fucking kid, you could do some sick references being dropped here. But the thing went out to Bray, and we're out there, the Railway Preservation Society, it's all like our lads, do you know what I mean? It's all our lads just keeping the rattler going. And one of them took a turn out in Bray and an ambulance had to be called for him. So the ambulance comes to the platform and they load him into it. And we all get back in the train to go back to Connolly. And all the kids were looking at the ambulance going, yay! We're fucking cheering the ambulance. This boy be fucking carted off. I hope he's okay. I hope it wasn't all that serious. But this is like fucking 5 years ago. But still in all, I hope he's okay. Regardless of which, Tom, what we are going to do today is we're going to have a bit of a Christmas carol take on the Tom and Jerry show, where we're going to be visited by the ghosts of Christmas past, Christmas present, and indeed Christmas yet to come. Tom, we're going to talk shite over those subjects for about the next hour or so, and hopefully it'll be something pleasant to listen to while you're in town doing your Christmas shopping. Sound like a fair deal for everybody?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get any argument. At this point, I think people are going to figure out that there'll be quite a bit of cursing. There's going to be some ridiculous stories. And if nothing else, we'll try and make it entertaining. So, as Jerry...
Might not be one for the kids to listen to, even though my kids do listen to it because I'm a terrible parent.
I like that. I like the fact that your kids listen to... My wife has listened back to she never listens to anything I do, but she's listened back to the house episode, the house building episode, a bunch of fucking times. Yeah. Unfortunately, and fortunately in one way, what it has done, it's created a lot of questions. It's like, I'm ready for that kid to start asking me questions because right now I'm going, okay, so I was thinking, I'm like, oh, Jesus. Yeah. So
here it comes.
I'm guessing she may or may not listen to this one. If she does, she won't have any questions from it, but I'm more than happy to talk Christmas because you're Mr. Christmas in a lot of ways. Like, you are unbelievable.
Let's get into it, Tom. Let's get into it. First of all, let's get visited by the ghost of Christmas past.
Do you want to give me a past, or will I start?
I'll give you a past Christmas. It's a thing I used to do at Christmas that I don't do anymore. It's a little short story here. One thing that was a big part of Christmas was Mass, Tom. Now, you know everybody would tell you midnight Mass. I've been to midnight Mass every fucking year throughout my whole life for Christmas, but I've never been to a Mass at midnight. I don't know anybody that goes to a Mass at 12 o'clock at night. I don't know that that's a thing. You know,
I went to one once. And it turned out to be a Latin Mass. Myself and my wife had a few, and we went to a Latin Mass in Dublin because we were going visiting hers the next day, who at the time were in Dublin, and they were visiting mine on St. Stephen's Day. So we said, hey, let's go to Mass. It'll be gas. And it turns out we looked it up online, and it was like, yeah, come on up, Mass at actual 12 o'clock. So we had a skinful on board, but it was 2 hours of Latin. 2 hours
Honestly,
of Latin. And the most whitest people you've ever seen. Jared, I mean, we're white, but we're not, we're from, let's be honest, we're from, stone-eating cultures. These were polo neck wearing white people. Like, they were white people. And that was the only mid, but all the rest of them never...
midnight Mass.
Yeah.
You see, we had two Masses that I remember as a child. There was two Masses. There was like your quote unquote Saturday night Mass, your Christmas Eve Mass, or your Christmas morning Mass. We fucking hated going to Christmas morning Mass because that was prime toy playing time. You'd fucking a ball of new toys from Santy. You didn't want to go to goddamn Mass about it. And not for nothing, like, parents, my mum had cooking to do, my dad shit to do as well. So we'd try and get it done on a Saturday. And like down through the 30 years that I went to mass, Tom, we had the McBride family had it down to a fine art. Like we'd be going to off-brand parish masses,
yeah,
7 parishes across at
yeah.
6 o'clock because we'd heard a rumor that the priest is going to wrap this shit up in 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So that was all well and good, and there was a couple of masses we went to. There was one mass we went to in a parish across the way, and the place was absolutely fire hazard rammed because, again, the word was that the priest will get you out of here in half an hour and you'll be at home for the fucking blind date Christmas special or whatever the hell it was. It was all beautiful, but it was the most absolutely Baltic little church that you've ever been in your life. No choir, no niceness, no Christmasness, no crib, no lighting of the candle, none
Sounds
of that
like the most
shit.
Catholic thing ever.
It was. Do you know what it reminded me of, Tom? It reminded me of, like, you served altar, I'm sure.
Oh, like I served many a late mass. Never a midnight mass, but many a late mass.
Do you remember, like, you'd have your 8 o'clock on a Saturday mass that was like your core mass?
Yeah.
And then you'd have like a Saturday morning mass at 10 o'clock where it'd be like 15 people in the chapel and they just fucking hit them with the hits.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
One reading, no sermon, communion, don't bother shaking hands, no prayers of the faithful, out the fuck you go.
Yeah, wraps.
That's what we got on Christmas Eve one day, okay? And I would have taken that over this mass, I'm going to tell you, which was the last Christmas Eve mass I've ever been to because I became a godless heathen. It was one of the first Christmases that I was with my then girlfriend, now wife. Oh. And I brought her up to meet the family. I'd brought her up to meet the family over the summer. And it was Christmas Eve, and I was going to bring her up for Mass on Christmas Eve. A nice tradition. I'm sharing my traditions with you. You share your traditions with me. Okay, we weren't living together at the time, so I was still driving up and down to Dublin to see her. All right?
Mm-hmm.
So I drive up to Dublin.
I love to know she didn't show my traditions. Like, she was most definitely a Methodist, or most definitely from a satanic family. Yes. At
the time, she was like, that sounds lovely. That sounds like a lovely way to spend Christmas Eve. We were together and we're, it's in Mass. Like, who's not to like it? But, like, in hindsight, I'm like, she must be going like, fuck, we doing going to this thing. But she was, she was lovely. She's still lovely, but she was lovely at the time. She was like, yeah, of course.
Yeah, right? Son, your dad said their mammy's lovely. Yeah, just to clarify that, yeah.
So I took her up to an 8 o'clock Mass with the folks, and we're all out together in force as a family. And this was like, the first time that, number one, you take her up to your then girlfriend, now wife, Tom. You take her to meet the folks, yes. Then she has to meet everybody else in the community.
Well, that's when it's serious. Like, that's serious.
Everybody has to look across and go, who was your one? Do you know what I mean? A strange woman in this this church, going to stand out like a sore thumb. Okay, who's your one? Oh, she's McBride's woman. She's McBride's new woman. That's okay. No, that must be serious now. She's a Mass. Like, it's not so much a debutante ball. And presenting
at the top of the stairs. Yeah.
And presenting. Next up, we have Madam Whatever. But like, you take a woman to midnight Mass. People don't want. They're doing a steady line. Okay.
Yeah.
So I had said, okay, love, come on up. We'll spend the day, and we'll go to this 8 o'clock Mass. Take an hour and a half. 9:30. I'll drive you back up to Dublin, drop you home, we'll open presents, hugs and kisses, under the mistletoe, and I'll fuck off back home. Because I wasn't staying up for Christmas dinner at the time.
Right.
He goes, fine. Not a problem. Sounds good, right?
Mm-hmm.
We go to the Mass, okay? And people had word that this was like it's an 8 o'clock Mass, okay? We'll take that over a 10 o'clock Mass in town, okay? This place was absolutely rammed on a chapel that could have held maybe 200, 250, there had to be 500 people in it, Tom. Like, absolutely fucking wall-to-wall rammed. And I had said, oh, come on up, it's lovely, it's a nice Mass, all this. And what it actually turned out to be was we're standing in a crowd 6 deep along the wall. So you don't even have the wall to lay up against.
I remember Mass was like that once upon a time. Yeah.
It was like being at a football game. It was like you're just standing fucking shoulder to shoulder with everybody. And 8 o'clock comes and the fucking choir's singing carols. And it is, for all intents and purposes, it's nice. And the kids are running around and everybody's in their finery. It's a nice time. And 8:05 comes. And 8:10 comes. And 8:20 comes. And the choir's running out of fucking carols. And the kids are getting restless. And everybody's like, what the fuck is going on here?
Where's the big man?
Where's the big man? 8:30. This is this. It's at something like this, Tom, where you're like, people are going, we thought this was at 8 o'clock. Are we wrong?
That's some James Brown level shit. That is right there, just making people wait. Like,
was it 8:30? Did we get it wrong? And you could hear people like rustling in bulletins and shit like this to see what time it was at. No, it's down for 8 o'clock. All right, well, okay. I guess it. Maybe the priest thought it was 8:30. 8:30 came. 8:15, 9 o'clock came, Tom, right? So
and not a prayer among you.
Not a prayer among us, right? And at this point, someone says, sacrilege. This is the turning of Ireland against the church. Someone says, maybe we'll go over and see where the priest is.
Right.
You know, and that's like, you know, sacrilege. Go knock on a priest's door and say, can we fucking help you, pal? 500 people sweating the balls off over here.
Hold on, there was no sacristan or anything to stick their head out and go, Father Ryan is attended to.
No, there was a couple of, and boys had gone back to the vestry, and there's a couple of altar boys just kind of kicking their heels going, don't look at us, you know?
Yeah.
We're here, we're ready, we'll say all the fucking mass you want. And I'm looking over at my missus, and she's like going, God, what is this? Is this how you fuckers do it in the country? Is this some sort of like self-flagellation? We've been fucking stood here for an hour and 10 minutes. Like, you know, what's going on? And we'd gone early to get standing, so we've been there from 7:30, and it's 9 o'clock now, okay?
Right.
Eventually, someone went over and across the road to the priest's house, not rapped on the door. He's like, oh, fuck, yeah, mass. Forgot about that. Oh, shit. Is that today? Is that today? Oh, fuck, oh, terribly sorry. And he comes over, right? Comes up all the fluster, and it's that kind of like getting ready as he comes in. Like he's not tucking his shirt into his trousers, but he's heading up for the altar, putting the stole around him, and it's kind of crack. And he gets up and he goes, "Look, I'm terribly sorry." Oh no, actually, I tell lies, Tom. He didn't say terribly sorry. He said, "Fucking dearly beloved, we were gathered here today. Whatever way you kick off a mass," and he just went for it. Like, you know what? Yeah, fuck it. I guess. You know, no, hey, shit, I've left you sitting
Elephant
here.
in the room, not in any way acknowledged.
Right.
And
the fucking the choir is singing "Oh Come All Ye Faithful" 4 times in this time, like, you know, and they're just looping back over and around it, you know. And the kids are absolutely frantic, screaming, running around the place, and the finery ain't the finery no more, Tom. And he launches in, and in a situation like this, Tom, you would think that you give the short version of mass, right?
This now would be the light Coke Zero / sugar free / fucking vegan friendly. Get it out the gap.
Out of here in 20 minutes.
Take a communion on your way out, lads.
Yeah, have a communion on your way home. He gave the full mass, including a 25-minute sermon, Tom.
You know what?
A 25-minute sermon about the fucking how we've lost the true meaning of Christmas. I'm like, oh yeah, we appear to have done so. And he's a lovely priest, done a lot for the community, and I wish him well in his future endeavours. But I will never forget being there for 3 hours and 20 minutes with an increasingly atheist woman. She was converting more and more to atheism as every minute ticked by, and I wasn't far behind her, Tom.
Man, like, you're thinking Only Fluents and Horses Christmas special be on now. That'd be gas. Yeah.
I'm not thinking. I'm thinking I've got a fucking hour and a half. I've got a 3-hour round trip to drive her up
minimum,
and drive back and say hello and meet her parents and all that kind of shit and wish everybody well and have a late night scotch egg and fuck off home.
Did anybody make a burst for it? Because if I was, there
would have had to been like, parents, but at the same time, like, you know, it's this sort of real Dr. Cap kind of thing. And I can't walk out.
Yeah, but surely with the Jesus, the pub was open up the fucking road. At some point, you're going, my tongue is hanging out here. We should have been done. We should have been done. We should have been
long done here.
Yeah.
Well,
Jesus Christ!
And that was my last experience at midnight mass, Tom. So as for ghosts of Christmas past, that might be where it stays. I would love to go to Christmas mass again. I would love to take the kids and all that kind of thing. But I had such a bad experience at that one. I'm like, God damn, I'll say a couple of prayers at home.
Yeah, the local fella here apparently is all right. I haven't seen him in a while. He married us, but I haven't seen his mass in a while. But he's a nice fella. Apparently, he's a man of the people that kind of goes, "Yeah, look it.
Yeah,
we've all a box of roses at home.
Gladiators is on.
Yeah, literally, he's into it, but at the same time, he doesn't take the piss, like, you know. So, but I served a few. I would have served the late ones, but did you know today, as we're recording this, today is actually a holy day.
Yeah, today, as we're recording this, I don't know when this is coming out, but it's the 8th of December. It's
which is, I mean, it's Culture Day out, like, isn't it?
It's Culture Day out, and I can't. I was going to say yes, it's the Feast of the Epiphany, but it's not. That's the 6th of January. What the fuck is it today?
I don't know, and I'm not googling it either, Jerry.
No, let us know in the comments if you know.
There's no way I'm googling it. Not a hope.
So that was my ghost of Christmas past. Tom, perhaps you will visit us with a ghost of Christmas past of your own.
I think I will. I mean, there's various stories of, well, this isn't the drunkest ever either, so I'm not going to get into that because I had several, not too many of them, but I've had a good few where I've been just 12 pubs at Christmas bullshit and all the rest. But
Right.
I may go back all the way to childhood and get out the cute little tiny violins here. I didn't, from probably the age of 11 through to the age of 17, I didn't really get to have the whole Christmas morning thing anyway. So I wasn't available even when they did come looking, even though I was gone too old really for altar boying. But when they came looking early, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, Jerry, because I couldn't do early mass on the Sundays, or we'll call it Sunday on Christmas Day.
I keep saying Sunday, Christmas Day.
I know.
Sunday.
If I was to do any, I would be serving the night before because I couldn't do it because I was typically working.
Working, Tom. At 11 years of age.
You see, there's very little that animals give a fuck about when it comes to religion. Them boys to be hungry regardless.
Right. So this was one of these ones. Go on, tell the story. I think I know where you're heading with this.
Typically, it was pigs. Typically, it was working on the pig farm. I would be on the morning of. And just because I was one of the people there that either wasn't in and out of prison or didn't have children, because those were some of the... Like people wonder, where did you get your rough edge from, Tom? Well, it was down to the fact that I worked with ex-cons for like 7 years through my formative fucking years. Most of them wanted to fight me or had some sort of, paranoid schizophrenia that I stole their cigarettes.
The pigs.
Even though I didn't smoke it, so I remember to pick out one in particular. I remember it was them, like, if I would loved it though, because I was making money, like, you know what I mean? And boys want nothing but to be men. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, like typically country boys, you just want to be a man as fucking the second you find out, you can drive and drink and have fun. So I didn't mind the work because it was like, well, I'm a fucking man now because I'm making a few pounds and the boys aren't making that, Yeah. But in this one particular, I remember this one particular Christmas, my brother was working with us at the time and he was probably only 12. I would have been 15. How to explain? I know. It's like if you think about it in today's society, you're going, "What? You're sending children out to work?" It wasn't weird. It was a delight for my parents that I had a fucking job. Like,
but like, come here. Let me ask you a question, Tom. This isn't your family farm. This is a separate enterprise.
I was a PAYE. I was a PAYE. This is like I was paying fucking taxes. Like this isn't fucking around. This is cycling to work. See ya, good luck, make my sandwiches at 5 a.m., get to the fucking job and get on it. Like, don't be fucking whinging about it. Like, but this one particular Christmas, it was the Christmas Eve and it was panic stations. No, the thing about a pig farm, especially because people love to think that their lovely pigs run the rashers you have tomorrow or Saturday morning or Sunday morning, 9 times out of 10 did not come off a fucking pig that's trotted around that you see on Instagram. Unfortunately, they come from big fucking factory houses. That's what they normally, because that's the only way you can make
industrial farming.
It's industrial farming. It's the only way we can fucking make a penny. Even at the moment, they're making fuck all. But anyway, this one particular Christmas Eve, it was panic stations, which it normally never is because everything is so fucking to the button, to the time. Do you know, Jerry, in a factory farm setting, you can time the what's the period of pregnancy? What's that called? It's not gestation. Is it? Gestation.
Yeah, that's just the gestation period. There you go.
Down to 3 months, 3 weeks, and 3 days. There you go. It may not have outdoor pigs, fucking wild pigs. It's a bit fucking, back and forth. But when you get it down to a fine art like that, generations upon generations growing on that. So that's the level. Right. That's the level of accuracy. So you don't really need to be worrying. A lot of things are automated nowadays, but what's not automated is what pigs have to shit, sure.
Yes. You can't ask them not to shit because it's...
No. And anybody who knows anything about agriculture, if you don't, here's a lesson. When they're indoors, you're not going around with a nappy or a scoop after them. They're standing on concrete floors, which have slots in them.
Yes. Yes. A slatted shed.
A slatted shed. And underneath those slabs, they're normally a 4 to 5 inch slab. Underneath those slabs, there are a huge tank that takes all that. The tank tends to be a little bigger than the house, so that there is an outdoor open pit area where typically during silage season, there would be enough of it sucked out during the summer that it would be empty enough and wouldn't fill up too bad during over the winter. Sucked out of it to spread as fertilizer. Well, this Christmas Eve, Ger, not enough had been sucked out, and it had been a particularly dry year. And it was unfortunately starting to come back up through the slats. And try as they may with pumps and the biggest tractors in the land to try and suck that. You ever got an Angel's Delight that didn't get enough mixture, enough of the liquid, and it will not come up through a straw? And you have no excuse but to get in there with your fucking hands and get at it with a couple of spoons and whatnot. That's essentially what we're talking.
This is Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve.
In the shit tank.
Literally in the shit tank. Christmas Eve, maybe what are we talking? Like 25 years ago? So 1990.
In this instance, when he says it's Christmas. In
this
instance, when he says it's Christmas Eve, Babe, he's talking about Babe, the famous pig.
Yeah, Babe. There's so many fucking things tying over each other here.
And you had to get in, wee Tom, 15. Tom, this is some fucking Tiny Tim shit.
This is some Mad Max fucking.
No, stay with the topic, Tom. This is some Charles Dickens shit here.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
On a frosty winter's eve.
Yeah.
Tom at 15. What were you wearing, Tom? Just overalls and wellies, was it? Or was it something adorable?
Oh, no. Well,
I see you just with a wee flat cap on you. I mean, I can't see you without it.
I had a little scarf. I had short pants on. And I had a little bruiser of a black eye, just getting slapped about. And I was fucking waders, man, up to my chest. And you got to take up the slabs, take out a few of the pigs, get them up. And these tanks normally have agitating fans through them too. Think of it like a ninja bullet or a fucking food processor that would normally drive it down to the outside. No, they wouldn't turn. They were burning the motors out because this stuff was so thick. We had no choice. You
did have a choice, Tom. You had a very simple choice. Fuck off. Stick your job. Good luck.
I'm a fucking glutton. If for nothing, Ger, I'm a fucking glutton. Even my younger brother was kind of going, what are we doing this shit for? I'm like, literally, I know. But there's almost a shame too. It's like these people are from just up the road. You got the fucking job. You will. I mean, now looking back at it, there isn't a man, woman, or child in the fucking country would have looked in any way negatively at me had I gone, I'm not doing that shit. Literally, I'm not doing that shit. But it was get down Christmas Eve, and we went at it for 12, 13 hours, bucketing out stiff pig shit into huge barrows. He'd run it down the path, fling it to the outside, doing it nonstop to the point it passed over into Christmas Day. And we'd no mobile phones or anything like that. It passed over into Christmas Day, past 12 o'clock. And at one point, when we got enough down, we figured they couldn't
shit this much.
They couldn't shit enough that we can't take a couple of days away from this. That we looked at the clock up on the wall, and lo and behold, it was like 1:10 in the morning. You're like, well, fuck.
Happy Christmas.
And the two of us are looking at each other, and we just started laughing at I can't draw a picture in people's minds as to how hellish this was like. And you're up to your oxters. I mean, we should have had masks on, didn't. I mean, nothing. Just fucking hauling this stuff out. Like, they couldn't even get the fucking ex-cons to do this shit. You know what I mean?
The fucking ex-cons, for all their talk, are at home watching Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah. And it was at that point, like even the boss, in fairness, one of the bosses, he was over, the guy who owned, he was over on the other side doing his part, like, and he was like, boys, you got to go home. They're like, you're fucking right, we got to go home.
Yeah.
And, well, it was too fucking even dark to cycle, but you can cut through the fields and stuff, but you're like, fuck me. But I mean, you're 15, you should be bulletproof. And you were like, I would be down for a month after doing a job like that for a fucking, like, you're talking 10, 12 hours, and that's after doing a full day. Like, we're talking on the job since 6 o'clock that morning through to 1:10 that night. You're going, happy fucking Christmas. And I was on duty the next morning for feeding. The next morning. So no mass. It was the one.
Which wasn't going to solve the shit problem, quite frankly.
Well, it really wasn't. It was going to fucking add to it. But we were able to get enough water down into it. It didn't need to be able to go at. The fans finally kicked in a day or so later, and we were able to get it moving with the amount of water we pumped through it and stuff. But it was one of the only times my parents, they're not the sort of religious people that would tell you about religion and stuff like that, but they love mass. They fucking love it. That was the only time that the old pair were like, yeah, you can you totally get a pass. You totally,
Yeah.
you ain't. But I was still on the job the following morning. I was still on the job 5 hours later for feeding, and that was whatever you think about that. It was a storm the next morning. Power was out everywhere. Bar they had backup generators over. And I was delighted with myself. I was like, I'm not going to even look at me prezzies. Nothing. I'm going to get over, get them all fucking fed, get the fuck out of there. And it was a fella supposed to be on with me. Yeah. Mad cunt. Mad. This is one of the few people I've ever known, Jerry, that was allowed. The cops didn't even stop him. He had a Yamaha 90 motorbike and he didn't wear a helmet. I think I told you about him one time. The cops wouldn't even stop him. He was like, that cunt is so mad. And yes, he has spent a bit of time inside, but he was cute enough to go fucking missing the day before. He wasn't around for that fucking job.
Yeah.
But he wasn't around the next morning for the job either. But I come out after fucking packing up for the day, come out of the canteen, put on me relatively clean clothes, and a fucking piece of, well, wrinkly tin, the British would call it, but it is, corrugated iron, a roof on a calf house, peels off like something, like, do you remember there was, I don't know, there was the beginning of a movie or something. There was one where a piece of paper would fly up into the air and do a twirl.
It was the end of the A-Team. Your man would he would type right in the typewriter and he'd take it out and throw it and it would go.
And that's what this fucking thing did. And when you're watching something, and I'm full of the joys now. I've gotten done all my shit work. I've fed the fuckers. Everything's back on track. I've made some good bank because it's fucking been Christmas. And I'm going home to Christmas fucking dinner and all my presents and everything haven't been opened yet. It's like fucking, beautiful.
It's like Christmas, Tom.
It's literally like Christmas. All my Christmases at once. I'm an excited little boy, going to climb up my bike. And I'm literally putting my one leg over the bike and I'm looking at this sheet of fucking, I don't know, is it 8 foot by fucking, it's not 8x4, it's like 8x2 sheet.
Yeah, it'd be 8x2.
Peels off, goes up into the air and I'm looking at it like in slow motion. I'm going, oh, the wind has fuck me, the bike, fucking the crust of me sandwiches in my bag hit the fucking deck, jar. Like I did not know I had these reactions. Hit the fucking deck. The thing almost cuts the door to the canteen in half behind me, hits the fucking belt, big fucking chunk, and flops down on top of me. I'm like, in the name of fuck.
That could have been pictured. You know what, Tom? That's I could be sitting here doing the Jerry show.
It would have cut me, and it would have fucking ruined my day. That's for sure. Had that fucking thing gotten me. But again, shook it off. Like, now I think about these things now, Jer, in later life, going, I actually have sleepless nights thinking about those moments. Back then, you're like, well, could have died of methane fucking poison. Like, could have died of being cut in half by yoke. The reason why that other fella didn't make it into work.
Yeah.
Like, Final Destination, you think I almost got. He got a Final Destination. He had a pickup truck full of steaks, timber steaks. I told you about this. I've definitely told you about this.
Right, so not meat steaks. We're talking Dracula steaks.
Dracula steaks, big ass ones. He was doing a job for a guy. That's why he didn't come in. He obviously got fucking a few extra pound to fucking do this instead of, because it's not, these guys, they're not. They may be in the schedule, but you don't know if they're showing up or not. You know what I mean? Yeah. And when they don't show up, you're not like, oh, I can't believe you didn't show up. Yeah, he didn't show up. He's probably literally in the drunk tank, or, he's doing another job where he's getting paid slightly more, or he just wasn't in the fucking mood. Like, you know what I mean? These guys, they're all over the shop. Well, by all accounts, pickup truck full of steaks with the spikes pointing the wrong way. They're pointing into the cab. Got into a bit of a fender bender. One of them came straight through. Well, a bunch of them came straight through. One of them came straight through, but came straight through him.
Jesus.
Yeah. And by all accounts, he's such a hard cunt. He wanted to smoke. He wanted to smoke as the EMTs were there with him. Like, he died on the fucking spot, of course, like not long after they got there. But he was like, let's me up my fags. You're like, that's fucking happy. Yeah. Why not? Smoke him if you got him at that stage, I suppose, Jerry,
Well, may the road rise to meet him, but fuck me, Tom. Where'd you fucking grow up, Tom?
Again, this is like, I try to explain this and it's so changed since moving back here. It's like, nobody's as raw as this anymore. And I met the guy that I only met a guy the other day. And we were talking about it, and he used to work with me. He's one of the few normal guys who work with me. And even at that, like, he's only got one eye and drives everywhere in a tractor. But at that,
Tom, don't fucking roll over something like this. All this shit you're talking about, this is like fucking Lemony Snicket's An Unfortunate Christmas. Who are these people? Fucking ex-cons getting impaled. And you hip deep in pig shit.
chest
Christmas
deep
Eve.
chest deep for the first part of the day, Jared. We didn't get to the hips until fucking into the afternoon.
Fuck me, Tom.
Yeah. So that was one 24-hour period where I was allowed to miss mass because a man needs to go to work, and
a boy,
but
a teenaged boy.
Yeah. Needs to go and do fucking some of the most horrific fuck work. But the thing was, it didn't take a fucking bit off me, because even though I flicked that fucking yoke off me, I was like, oh, that was close. I didn't think I'd be talking about it in years to come, but at the same time, I was like, well, that's a thing that happens. People almost die.
Yeah.
On my bike, pedaled home for all I was worth, had me shower, I was downstairs opening prezzies like a normal child should be doing. Just needless to say, the previous fucking 36 hours behind me.
He's like, here you go, Tom. We got you a new pig shit shovel.
On my way home, some guy out the top window, boy, what day is it? You know,
it's pig shit day, sir. You, boy, is it you that smells of pig shit? It is, sir.
It is. It actually is. It is.
Oh my God. Well, ghosts of Christmas past. Jesus Christ. What can we say about that? But
the Lord have mercy on them. The Lord have mercy on them ghosts.
You know, it's time, I think, Tom, that we come a little bit forward to today, to Christmas 2020. What the fuck year is it? 2021. There we go, Tom. They all seem to blend in together these days. And we talk not of ghosts of Christmas past, Tom, but let's have a little look at ghosts of Christmas present.
And not Christmas presents and Christmas present, like Christmas as in right now, as we speak to you right now in the real term.
The Christmas right now.
Yeah, exactly. Do you want to give us one, or will I go again? I don't mind.
I'll give you one. I'll give you a little Christmas tradition that I've carried over.
You've got a few. You're a good man for a tradition. In fairness to you, you are a good man.
This is one I don't talk about all that often, and if I've talked about it on a previous podcast, well, I guess I'm a fucking liar.
I'm assuming it isn't your sponsorship by fucking Bud that you.
No. It's a very odd one, and it's changed a little bit down through the years, but it stems from like a bad Christmas bonus. Clark Griswold style.
Oh, now that's that now. Yeah. That's stepping. I mean, I was I'm a company man for so long, but fuck me, when they come to Christmas, it's such a slap in the face. Like, because you've broken, you've tried to do a good job all year round, but
you've done what you think was your part. And like, here's the thing, Tom, even if I haven't, I just want shit for free.
Yeah, of course.
Even if
it's Christmas. It's Christmas, motherfucker. Come on.
So what had happened was I had left a job that I'd been in for years and years, and you're always looked after at Christmas, and that, and I hate to be like Clark Griswold, but you kind of earmark it a little bit,
Yeah.
You kind of have it spent before it arrives.
You're there looking out through the fucking the back window, imagining that pool, and you want beckoning you in. Yeah, I've been there.
So I'm there, like, I've like, me at Christmas, I don't spend money on myself. I look after everybody else, and I'd always say, well, look, you're getting a few quid, and that'll clear the credit card bill in January and all this kind of thing. But I was going out. She features in it again, my then girlfriend, now wife, and we were going out together, and I was just after changing job.
Right.
And I was in a new place, and it's up the country. Back up, not even back up home. I'd left the job that I was in for years. Like I say, you were always looked after very, very well. And again, not only that, but you'd have reps handing you bottles of whiskey and all this kind of crack. So you were more than looked after. Christmas was a time of celebration. You'd be looked after. You'd have a fucking tray of dairy milk, and you'd have a bottle of Jameson. What can I say, Tom?
Yeah, and damn right.
But I moved into a new job that I just, for whatever reason, Tom, assumed you'd be getting a Christmas bonus.
Oh, for whatever fucking reason.
Nobody told me that. And nobody said, now, just so you know, it's mid-November, young McBride, and you've been with us for 6 months, so just so you know, give you a heads up how we do things about this. Your wages is your wages, and that's it.
What kind of a miserable bastard. Like,
you know what? That's how they ran the business. What can I say?
These
are bonuses, Tom. You're not owed them. But at the same time,
you're
fuck's
old.
sake, right?
You're fucking old.
And at the
Jesus.
same time, fuck's sake.
Even the worst cunts I work for, Jerry, they gave me a €200 Tesco's voucher.
Right. So,
I mean,
here we are, right?
It wasn't exactly fucking,
No, but like I'll
pinch on
tell
the
you one
arse,
thing,
but-
you wouldn't walk past it on the street. Anyway, regardless.
Exactly.
So I'm wrapping up work on like the 23rd, and I'm going up to see herself in Dublin, right? And we're gonna have drinks and stay over and one thing and another. And 23rd came, no Christmas bonus came, and and they gave you sort of like a handshake on the way out the door and enjoy your Christmas, and I'm like, fuck, and they say, oh wait, hang on. I goes, oh shit, there we go, all right.
Yeah.
And this is as fucking Griswold as it comes, right?
Oh no, Griswold, Clark.
They said to me, oh, one of the suppliers, one of the reps here, handed in some stuff, and there's a hamper down in the canteen. Go take something from it. But we're telling
like the
you
fucking
last
Pringles?
Specifically. So go take whatever you want. And I went down and like the biscuits was gone out of it and everything, like, and all that was in it. And I ain't kidding. I don't want to be like me fucking owl by here, but it was an apple and an orange. It was like a fruit hamper. You know what I mean?
What fucking bank am I going to cash that in?
And they're like, yeah, work away. And I'm like, it's fucking an apple and an orange. Well, thank you very much. But, oh, no, it'll only go bad there. It'll only, it'll sit there till New Year, or it'll sit there till the fucking 27th of December when we're open again for no good fucking reason. And, like, I didn't want to be ungrateful, new job. And if you know the economic circumstances of the country at the time, you didn't want to turn your nose up and say, well, I wanted the price of a PlayStation. So you're just like, thank you very much. My apple and my orange. And I fucking stared at them all the way from Monaghan to Dublin. And ourself gets in the car up in Dublin. And she goes, yeah, all right. You seem a little bit on edge. And I goes, I know we haven't been out very long, but you're about to meet a very different side of me here. This is I feel I'm wronged. This is me as fucking sore as I've ever been, and we were going to go into town and get fed or whatever like that. I don't even know if I can do that. I'm levitating with rage. It's a mixture of like probably disappointment more than anything else, but manifested itself in anger, as is the way I do things.
I'm furious right now on your behalf.
Sadness manifests in anger. Hurt manifests in anger. Disappointment manifests in anger. I was fucking red dog mad. I was so fucking angry. And we started driving around Dublin, and the place is wall-to-wall traffic, 23rd of December, and that did not help anything.
No.
And I was going red mad, giving out to every fucker in front of me that didn't know how to drive through a red light or drive through a green light, didn't know how to move, didn't know how to park, lads that were parked across two parking spaces. I was going so fucking red dog mad at everything. And my then girlfriend, now wife, was in the passenger seat the whole time, pissing her sides laughing. She had never heard anything so fun. I wasn't just roaring and shouting. I was doing like a proper Friars Club roast of everything I could see. I was calling everybody.
Old Jerry Rickles there, just going to the
old
fucking
Jerry
town.
Rickles just burning people left, right, and centre. Driving past people's houses that were done up, and I'd be giving them frank appraisals and like, who done that, huh? Who did your fucking ass? Take my wife, please. And the next day she goes, I just want to say, I know you were real mad yesterday, but that was like the funniest shit I've heard all year. So we have kept that up. I know we started in Ghost of Christmas Past there, but we have kept that up, Tom. 10 years, 12 years to this day, where before Christmas, we will drive around and I will roast everything I fucking see.
Is that your purge, is it?
That is the purge. We came up with a thing that it is a purge before Christmas, that I will get you get all the negative energy out of yourself and have a prickmas, you have a cuntmas, you just get it all out of yourself. You get in the car and it became very shortly after I left that job and I moved to a new job. I didn't have another Christmas in the place. And the other place I went to was lovely and they looked after you, and then I moved to another place and they looked after you, and it was, it was what it was. You didn't go hungry, okay? You didn't get a fucking apple and an orange, I'll tell you that much. But regardless of which, on the second to third last day, whatever it would be, we would get in the car or drive, and I would fucking roast everything. Or I would go into town to do my last gig of the year, and afterwards have a couple of pints with very possibly yourself or whoever it was, and she would come in to pick me up. And on the drive home, when I was 3 sheets to the wind, I would be drunk as fuck, roasting
that'd be
everything
a
left,
good
right,
one.
and center.
That'd be a good one. Yeah,
And
yeah.
it just became just a wonderful point of the year, to the point like in the past couple of Christmases or in recent Christmases.
Did you do it in just a 2-kilometer fucking radius?
You gotta, you just gotta drive around. Look at these fuckers here. And here's the thing: the next day, Tom, it's like any good time where you're out and you've had a couple of pints and you're having the crack around like that. The next day, you're like, "What the hell were we laughing at?" Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you 5 things I've said in 10 years that are in any way, shape, make, or form funny, but it just has become the tradition that we go out and rip into everything. The past couple of years, we've got the kids, so you can't exactly drive around roaring and shouting and effing and blaming at things. I somehow managed to do it 363 days of the year elsewise, but on around Christmas, I'm like, oh, we can't take them now.
Yeah, of course.
I'd feel hindered, so it'll be okay. So we're having a night out. My missus doesn't drink, so the kids will go to the grandparents' house for the night for a sleepover. We'll go into town and have something to eat, or we'll have a night out. We'll have our Christmas night out, so to speak, and she'll drive me home, and I'll have a couple of pints, and it's be like, oh, here it comes, here it all comes, just this big fucking this roast, this purge, and you're slandering people for no good reason. And a lot of it, I gotta tell you, a lot of it you couldn't stand over. A lot of it's quite cutting and needlessly cruel.
I don't know. I'm hearing quite
it's
a
not
good
like you're
fucking
roaring,
bonus.
Tom,
I'm
it's not like
bonus
you're
podcast here, Jerry. Yeah.
It's not like you're roaring it out the window at people. You're just kind of like, why don't you know how to fucking park, you prick?
I really want to fucking hear that.
I gotta tell you, Tom, that is a Christmas present tradition that I hope to carry on 3 years. If you have time, Prickmas, I highly recommend it.
I really think that's a great idea.
It's a wonderful idea.
Fucking
Tom.
burning up through all the fucking things that, because you mightn't realize it, but there's a lot of fucking hell inside people. And I would gladly be a sacrificial lamb and be parking like a prick or stepping out into the fucking road when I shouldn't, just so that people can abuse the head off me in the privacy of their own car.
These people have no idea. These people have no idea the service that they do for us. I mean, if you want to walk out in front of me, or if you want to, do shitty lights outside your house, you're really helping the McBride family, Chris.
That's fantastic. I'll never forget. I got it was a big Clark Griswold again. I was after bursting my hole for his construction company, and I was like, it wasn't a big bonus the year previous, and it was, but I was coming up, I was coming up, and I was figuring, this one should be a good one, and it was always a check. You get the check on the 23rd or whatever. You fucking rush to the bank to fucking get it the next morning or whatever. But it's one particular year. Fuck. Good luck. Have a good Christmas. Yeah. Good luck now.
Bye-bye.
I'm like, good luck now. What the fuck? Boss man gone. Into the car, gone. Like, hot. And just like that, I boiled. I fucking boiled. And thank fuck though, I was single at the time, and normally, like, if you have somebody to tell you, listen, we'll calm down. Maybe there was a mistake, maybe something. But my brain did say, oh, fucking, okay, relax the fucking chops. Look, there's nothing that can be done now anyway. We'll talk about it in fucking, right, fuck's sake. But I went down to the pub and actually ran into a couple of lads that I was friends with, and that they were in the construction too, and they were all after getting big juicy fucking bonuses, and I'm there going, for fucking cunt, that fucking prick. And at the time, I would never use a card. I always like cash for my drink, because it was dangerous pulling the card out, because before you know it, then you're going, oh, fuck.
Standing rounds the boys and shit.
Oh, so I would go with cash, and I go across the road. After spending maybe 5-6 hours fucking this fella uphill and down dale, that rotten, dirty cunt. I tell you one thing, I was giving my CV to lads and everything going,
yes,
I want out.
This is classic Prickmas behaviour, Tom. I love it. You're doing it, you just don't know.
Fuck this fucking prick and everything he fucking stands for. I broke the whole year, took his fucking grief in the fucking prick. I'm after making them fucking hundreds of millions of pricks. Went across the road to take out maybe fucking, I don't know, €100 or something. I said I'd have a look to see what'll carry me over. Of course, after getting a fucking juicy bonus paid into my account. I was like,
look at that, Tom.
But the duality of your brain at the time doesn't want to let it go, because you're like a fucking dog with a bone. You're like, well, he could have fucking
told me that now.
He could have
told me that now.
Could have said, fuck's sake.
But look, that's the wondrous thing of it. Maybe people do it besides, and you're just after reminding me that very first Preakmas that we did when I did get fucking not even gypped on the Christmas bonus. You can't get gypped on the thing that was never going to be yours.
Yeah.
There was a lot of fucking slander, and I put up with this customer during the year, and I put up with that customer, and I put up with people giving out that timber floor wasn't what they bought when they were looking at the back of the board, the stupid cunts. Like, it was all this kind of crack, and it stands to be...
I was mumbling to myself in the jacks and everything. Like, I was pissing, going down, fucking prick. But,
it just gets it out of you, and... Well, again, Clark Griswold is the one. Like, he went on his rant and he was like, "You no good, four-flushing, legless, dickless snake feces," kind of shit. And that's what it was. That's what it was. Me doing that in a Monaghan accent for 2 hours and continuing that on for 12 years.
It is, but a cold shudder went down my spine when I thought I almost rang him.
Yeah.
And he was not the sort of man you rang after hours. You did not. You didn't cross him any of the time, but you didn't ring him after hours. And you sure as shit didn't ring him bitch moaning and complaining. But,
like I said, Tom, the place I was working, it was the first. I only started for them in the summer. So this, came as a stunner to me, all right, I will say. But what came as more of a stunner was when I went in the 28th of December and they went, "How did you enjoy the apple and the orange?" And I was like, I'm not long for here. No.
Oh, you bad bastards. You're rotten to the core, the fucking lot.
Nah, they were decent folk. But this was a stinger.
It's
and that's my Christmas present, Tom. That's my tradition. That's my tradition that we carry on, and hopefully to carry it through the year. And I highly recommend it to anybody looking for a new tradition. Preakmas, get it all out of your system 2-3 days with drink involved, and do it as funny as you can, because anybody can rant. But you know what?
Try and be funny.
McBride way.
Try and be funny. Yeah. What did they call it? Is it brevity? In that moment, hey, listen to me.
Hey, I don't know. Make it funny. What can I say?
Make it funny. My traditions have, I like, they've kind of fluctuated, that kind of way. And I haven't been great with any traditions. I'm kind of a fly by the seat of your pants kind of guy. But something that came around probably 6 years ago now, out of the fucking blue, which I didn't realize would run as a tradition, and I would fall in line with people that were running this tradition as a way of life for decades, generations. And I got the most random email one day, and it was from a crowd looking to, they thought my email was my representation, not realizing they were speaking directly to fucking me. And they wanted to see me for a part in a panto.
Right.
Now, I've talked about this before. I'd never fucking been I'd never been to a panto. I'm like, what?
I mean, what was your frame of reference here, Tom?
Nothing. I'd nothing. In fact, I thought it was something, I honestly, I looked down my nose at it. Now, I've learned in recent times not to look down your fucking nose at anything until you give it a lick. Do you know what I mean? Give it a lick first, because you don't know really what you're talking about. It's only maturity brings that. But with this, I'm like, I said it to herself, and she's like, you know what? That could be a hell of a lot of fun. Go do it. Now, I'd never done a fucking audition before, bar the one I did for Dame O'Niver and a couple of ads. And with Dame O'Niver, the only point of reference I had was, you have to know all 6 scenes. You got to know them off book. There's no question. So I thought that's what everybody did. So I learned the fuck out of these lines, and it was worrying. It was tricky, because I'm like, I don't know the world. My wife, of course, was able to tell me everything about the fucking Disney fucking world,
right?
And she's a fucking Beauty and the Beast, and she's so fucking. I'm like, I don't know anything about this shit. So I go, and on the basis, I said, well, where the fuck? I messaged him back and said, do you mind me asking where you got my email / who the fuck? And they said, one of our assistant producers heard you on the fucking, the Bernard, Keith and Jennifer show.
The breakfast show.
The breakfast show, where I used to do a Monday morning corner with Tom, giving out about the world. Essentially a one-man version of the Tom and Jerry show, just giving out about a subject or whatever. And
sure, I was actually handle it yourself, Tom. There was no need to call me.
And I was actually promoting a show at the time, so I was promoting a stand-up show I was doing, and it was actually, so I was, you're putting it on.
Yeah, my feelings aren't hurt, not really.
Look, take what you want from it, Jerry. Take what you want from it, but it was in the past. We were on a fucking break.
Don't worry about it.
Sorry, Rachel. We were on a break anyway. And out of nowhere, your man I must have gone full Tipperary, full Pat Short, because that's what he was taking from it. Was I sounded like one of the Unbelievables. And your man, his cousins, the same guy, his cousins are all from near here. But even though he's from Dublin, the guy lives vicariously through the notion that he's from down here. Strange, hell of a nice, lovely fella, Trev. So I go in, I can't sing like these people can sing, and I know that. Because as I start to look into them, like, wait a fucking minute, this is a really big show. Because in my head, I'm thinking parish hall.
School play kind of thing.
One night only, maybe a weekend, bit of a mess around, maybe 150 people in the hall. Not 1,100 people twice a day for 15 days. Flying people in from around the world to be the backing dancers, to be the actors. Pro to a level that you're going, holy fuck, this is a production. I go in, they've rented out this place over on the Long Mile Road, seeing people. And I'm going, and this is a piece of advice I give to anybody who's ever burgeoning talent or actor of any sort. Try not to give a fuck. Be professional, have your shit together, learn your lines that you're supposed to learn, but just give it sure, look it, let's give it a lash. Do not hang anything on it, because I was hanging nothing on this. But I went in and I went, do you want a script? I went, oh no, I thought you'd learn all this off. They looked at each other and kind of went, oh, you've learned off all your... Okay, well, I'll read for whoever, whether he was, I don't know whose character they read for. And I just went for it. And then they offer me really, really nice chunk of change to come and do this. So I'm like, yeah, all fucking day long. And I'm going to be in it with Carl Spain. We're going to play basically what would be two pieces of furniture of some sort. Like, we're new versions of the characters. But if you were to, pull over... In
a court of law.
If you were to pull over, we'll say, a fucking piece of, tracing paper over us, I would have been most likely Lumiere.
Yes, and Carl, we love you, Carl, the best will in the world. You were absolutely a cogsworth there, pal.
Oh yeah, he was definitely the whatchamacallit, the double chested fucking wardrobe. But they get it. They offer me, and I'm going, okay, I still have no idea. Maybe I should Google something about pantos, or maybe I fucking shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't.
Yeah, fuck it, rip it, buddy.
But then we get into rehearsals. And rehearsals are coming up on the Monday. Now, on the Saturday, I've got a delightful gig. With Heineken. And I'm hosting this thing down in Cork. And I'm doing it with two guys who I fucking admire, who have won Heineken Cup medals, fucking all-round legends. And in between things, it's for a match that's on the telly, but in between I'm shooting the shit with two guys who have two gold European medals in their arse pocket. They're cool as fuck, and they're sharing stories with me that you will never hear me repeat live. Never hear me repeat live on air. And I would only say to a handful of people some of the cool shit from behind the scenes. For nerds who love behind the scenes with stuff, imagine hanging out with Chris Hemsworth and Robert Downey Jr. and they're going, do you know who fucked who? That's the level of coolness I was getting, right? And of course, the boys are drinking for free. My plan was to go back to Dublin that night. Natasha says, don't, stay down. You're two fucking legends. And
you know what, Tom? Nothing has ever come good from the phrase stay down or indeed stay out.
Yeah, but at the time, Gerald, when you get those two words said to you,
hey, you have a good time, stay out. No, go home. Then and there.
It wasn't to be a problem. It wasn't a problem because she knew the glee in my voice. The two guys who, she was like, this is a once, you won't get, how often does anybody get to do it? You're about to go on the res.
Yeah.
Around the town.
Your missus is just there like, yeah, it's okay, Tom. I can see you're gleeful in a sea of toxic misogyny, toxic masculinity. Stay out.
She got it. So I do. And I was able to get myself a hotel room, the whole lot. It was fucking, let's hit the town. And we do. We have a fucking great night because these lads still garner legendary status.
Right.
Everywhere they go. Everywhere they go. And I say, bid the lads adieu, and I stay in a hotel. And it's an older hotel because there's no lift. And I slip on the stairs. I can remember this. I slip on the stairs, had a bit of a fall, but I go to bed. I wake up the next morning. Christmas decorations everywhere, of course. Wake up the next morning. We're in a world of pain. And I mean a world of, when you sleep in a car and you wake up and you're like, I can't move my neck. I think I may have broke it. But then the blood rushes back into your neck again. And a mile or two up the road, you're like, I'm actually okay. This didn't go away, dear. This didn't go away. So I drive back to Dublin. I get myself a breakfast, drive back to Dublin. I can't sit right in the car. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me? What the fuck is wrong with me? All I can remember is that little fall on the stairs, like an old nana.
Yeah.
I get in the house, and as I've shown you, I can go through a fair bit of fucking hardship, as I've talked about in the previous fucking Christmas.
You talked about in the previous hour. You fucking 15-year-old fucking oxers deep in shite.
This was fucking pain. And at that point, she was like, we got to get you to A&E. We got to go over and see what it is. I think I might have cracked a rib. I didn't just crack a rib, Ger. I broke 4 of the fuckers. Broke them, cleaned the fuck off. Broke them. And now I'm left with a choice.
Merry Christmas, Tom.
Now I'm left with a choice. What do I do? Do you hold your hands up and say, I can't do the show, even though it's a really, really nice whack of money, and also the exposure for stand-up in the South with those kind of people, eyes seeing you.
Yeah.
This could be, do I commit? Because this is a commitment of 3 fucking weeks, 2 weeks of rehearsal, really 4 weeks.
Right.
Really the month. It's about 3.5 weeks of commitment. Do I have a lot of movement? I'm not singing or really doing a lot of dancing. I think I can. I got enough painkillers. Literally, I'm on the strongest fucking cow painkillers you can get. I got ice spray. Like, I can nut up and shut up here. I can fucking nut through this.
I mean, God, it's one way to do it, Tom.
I didn't say a thing. I mean, I don't remember hardly any of that year's banter. Now, I've done 3 subsequent to that. I don't remember hardly any of it. I was so fucking high through the whole thing. And I'm feeling this. And I mentioned to 1 or 2 of the cast when I made friends, I was like, yeah, I'm kind of fucking hurt there. You might not want to swing me this way. Right. But of course, I have had nothing to offer. I can't sing like these people. I can't dance like these people. So I've got to be the fucking fool. And I ain't going to be able to the one swinging Carl around by his fucking legs. So Carl's got to swing me every so often around by my legs and stuff. Me. And after a while, I can feel them grating against each other. When you feel fucking 4 ribs banging back and forth off each other at the broken ends, and you're like,
You see, Tom, this is the kind of thing that you could probably nut up and shut up if it was like a broken arm or a broken arm. You could get by with a broken arm. You need your legs to stand on. A broken arm, you could probably just sort of fold it against yourself and say, just don't hit me that side. But like your ribs, you need them to sort of breathe in and out. Or if nothing else, you may not need them. They're not integral to the process, but they're right there while you're doing it.
For the bit of dancing I did have to do, it was troop dancing. It wasn't like I had to do a single fucking Ginger Rogers number by myself. But it was troop dancing. You still got to look the fucking beaming part. I can tell you here now, you can do it if there's enough money on the line, Jer. You could fucking do a lot of things. I can tell you that.
Well, they always said that was like when Charlie Sheen was fucking doing his Tiger Blood shit, and he was on one. How he got through? They were like, how can he still be on 2.5 Men every week? How can he appear quote unquote normal and get the job done on the show? And they're like, he has to turn it on for 5 minutes at a time. They do it in takes. Take your line, take the scene. Did he get it? Yeah. Okay, move on to the next one. He gets to go sit down for an hour and a half. Do it again. Take it. Did he get it? Yeah, fair enough. So you only have to sort of turn it on for 5 minutes at a time here and there. Turn it on for 5 minutes 6 times over the course of a day, and that's your.
Well, that was the thing.
That wasn't your job, Tom. You're fucking dancing and buck lapping around the place.
yeah, you're in a live performance and there's 1,000 sets of eyes looking at you and stuff. And the hardest was actually in the rehearsals because people are, in between scenes, people are sitting down with you going, so how are you? And they're beaming because they're all happy actors to be in a fucking well paid fucking position for the Christmas. They're all happy. And you're like, yeah, it's going great. And I'm really learning a lot from everything here. Jesus Christ. Oh, fucking. And I'm stepping out stinking of wintergreen and cold spray to try and take the heat out of my fucking ribs.
So let me ask you, Tom, which of these are you taking through as your Christmas present? Is it the panto or the heavy medication?
It turned out to be panto in the end. I stuck with it. And I revealed it to the boss man a couple of years later. He went, you mad cunt. He says, if I caught wind of that, he says. But I says, you didn't know me. I said, you didn't know that I could fucking suck it up and just get through the fucking thing. You didn't know me. I said, no, I didn't. In all fairness, he says, if you retrospectively now, I know you're enough of a psychopath and you love money. So I know you'd go through with it. But if I caught fucking a sniff of that, you're gone. Gone. I said, I know. And I picked up as much. That you would have cut me straight away, like, because
I can see the headlines now. It's like Panto star cut after wintergreen addiction.
Yeah, I don't know. Would there been many headlines that year around? But no, the tradition stuck for another 3 years, three Pantos after that. And do you know what?
Yeah, I was just going to say, Tom. Yeah, you wouldn't have been. There was another Panto star stealing headlines on you that year. But regardless, we're blowing past it here a wee bit, Tom. Every now and then we mention the wintergreen. And people are like, the fuck are they talking about? Wintergreen, it's deep heat for culchies.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a more culchy version of deep heat.
It is wintergreen. It's more old school. Now, as I was alternating between that, get it hot, then spray the fucking freeze spray on it. Then about an hour later, try and get a bit of blood flow through the fucking thing. Like, but it was winter. You're just stinking of it the whole fucking time.
The whole time.
To be fair, they're athletic. A lot of these people, so they're okay with it too. They're not freaking out in rehearsals, going, "Oh my god!" They do whatever they got to do too.
Right. So it's like a changing rooms.
You're seeing lads.
I tell you, Tom, I don't want to fucking sway the conversation away from it to medication and all that kind of thing. Anytime I was hurt, ribs wise and all that, and I've had that icy spray as well. Don't fucking spray that on yourself, because your first instinct when that hits is to go,
yeah, I know.
It only hurts more.
I know. Well,
get an ointment that you can rub on at a pace of your choosing.
After day 7, Jar, I'm spraying that shit on like a fucking dead man.
You're spraying that on like a young lad going to a Debs.
Literally,
spraying on Lynx.
It is Africa. It is Lynx Africa at that stage. I'm like, just spray it on. I don't give a fuck if it's burning my skin. I don't care. I'm just getting through this shit. And it did. The panto, what it opened my eyes to was a fantastic tradition. And it was a tradition that people had. Robert C. Kelly, the producer at the time, he slogged away, man. He had that big theatre, and it was not a tradition in Limerick at the time. And there was the opening years that he was doing it, he had 2s and 300s coming through the door.
Right.
And I was in the golden era. I stood in when they had full houses, every single show, people fucking hawking tickets and everything to try and get to it. But whole families and this tradition, and it'll be something I'll do, because it is such a good bit of crack, and the production that goes into it, the effort and the standard and everything else. But when I said it to a couple other lads, what I was doing, you could see in their faces, they're going, I'd do the exact same thing. Like lads dancing with broken toes because they've been cast in fucking Cats and they're about to tour fucking China. Do you know what I mean? One lad I know was able to buy an apartment as a fucking dancer, because he landed Cats and he had a 2-year contract with Cats. And he says, Tom, he'd have punctured spleen and everything. He's like, you do whatever the fuck you gotta do, and we won't.
He's there with the punctured spleen going like, "Jellicate cats,
He bought a flat in Greater London off the fucking money he made off that. So you suck that shit up for those couple of years.
Anytime I'm like, they're dancers, I'm like, oh, you poor penniless fucks, you're just eking out a living here and there, and no, these people, like, if you land a job like that, you're minted, and you're not going to turn around and go, don't fucking do it just because you've got a petty little injury. It's a flesh wound. Fucking walk it off.
Yeah.
That's a classic example, Tom. You had the quintessential die-hard flesh wound that you had your feet cut, but you brought it together and you kicked the man off at Nakatomi Towers and you muscled through, except you did it dancing for children.
Yes, yeah.
With an injury you picked up drinking with I'm not a rugby fan. What sounds like a gallon of pricks.
Yeah. So you can knock the edge off it all you want because you're still sour with me over the whole 2FM thing. But it's my Christmas present, only a lead in to tell you how my Christmas present up until I suppose the dreaded go what was that and it was there's the tradition that you see the people that are in it every fucking year and the vigor they bring to it, the level of professionalism I learned off these people, Ger. They were showing up every year, and yes, they knew every step, they knew every fucking thing, and it was slightly only changed from the previous time they did Jack and the Beanstalk or they did whatever. But the fucking vigor, they're at the side of the stage going, oh God, why do I do this to myself? But they step out and literally it's like this fucking film, the fucking light, the limelight, shall we say, passes over their face and they turn into a fucking beast, just a performance beast. And you're like, you do not bring your shit on stage, motherfucker. You leave that to fuck in the dressing room. And that's where you just go,
love it.
Suck it up or not up, one or the other.
Love it. Love it to bits, Tom.
Christmas present. There you go.
Christmas present. Well, let's move from Christmas present, Tom, because we've had Christmas past, we've had Christmas present, so there's only one thing to come left in the old Scrooge motif that we've had here, and that's the ghost of Christmas yet to come.
Yet to come. I prefer that than future, actually. I prefer that. It would have made, a shitty version of yet to come. Back to the yet to come.
I think back in the Dickens day, did they have a word for future? I don't know. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, maybe they didn't actually, yeah.
I'm going to throw a few at you here, Tom. Real rapid fire. My Christmas yet to come. And it's real simple, Tom. It gets to be a point. No, look, hey, I love Christmas, right? I miss the fucking Christmas. Okay?
You're Mr. Christmas. You're fucking. You are Clark Griswold.
So don't think that I'm sitting here going like, I'm getting kind of bored of it, kind of over it. It's not the case, Tom. It's not the case whatsoever. But it gets to be a point where you have to let a few new things in. Right?
I agree. There is, growth and all that shit. Yeah.
It's like a nightclub that the bands are like, only regulars tonight. Only regulars tonight. Don't let anybody in you don't know. Only regulars tonight. No, you're not getting in. You're not getting in.
Becomes very incestuous after a while, Ger.
And you turn around and go, we don't have the crowd tonight, so maybe let a few new people in.
Yeah.
Okay, I know they look like doses and they've got strange haircuts, but let them in, okay?
Are those trainers or are they considered shoes nowadays? Yeah, okay.
You know what? They look like shoes. Okay, did you buy them? Where'd you buy them? Okay, it's not Lifestyle Sports. In you go. All right. Yeah. And they cost more than a week's wages for me, so all right, kid, you're on to fucking something there. I've had a very regimented diet of movies and songs and TV specials and Christmas treats and Christmas foods for the past 20 years. And it's a very exclusive club that are quoted as being the classics. And anything that was new, Tom, could go fuck itself. It's not getting in. All right? So you've got your classic. We'll start with movies with me. You've got your classic Christmas movies like your Die Hards and It's a Wonderful Lives. And you've got your Home Alones, and you've got your Muppet Christmas Carol, and I'm sure you've got a couple there yourself. Your White Christmas and your White.
Is Angels with Dirty Faces considered a Christmas movie?
Well, it's not a real movie, Tom.
Yeah, yeah. Is it? Well, am I thinking of the right one?
Well, Angels with Dirty Faces is the fake movie in Home Alone.
But is there not one like based around Al Capone or one of those that it's?
Oh, I'm sure there is. I mean, there's Angel on My Shoulder from the 80s.
Okay.
God, if you fucking know Angel on My Shoulder, Jesus Christ.
No, I don't. I don't. And
anybody within the sound of my voice that knows Angel on My Shoulder, you fucking text me or get on to me on the Instagrams and socials. Because that's such a deep buried TV movie from the mid 80s. If you fucking know Angel, if you're listening to this going like, God damn, I can't believe they're talking about Angel on My Shoulder, you fucking let me know about that. Regardless of which, Tom, gets to a point where it's not like you're sitting down at the end of every year going, oh, fuck me, I suppose it's time to watch Home Alone again. Oh, fuck my life, I hated everything to do with it. But it gets to a point, Tom, where you have to add in a couple of new Christmas movies. So for your Christmas future, I'm going to drop a couple for you here, okay, Tom?
Mm-hmm. Because there's a lot of fucking dirt out there, Chris.
A lot of dirt out there.
A lot of bad efforts at Christmas movies.
Let me put it to you like this, Tom. If it's on Netflix this year and it's their big Christmas movie, don't watch it. Shite. I can promise you that. All right.
Okay.
Or maybe, hey, you know what, Tom? Maybe it's not shite. Maybe I just need 10 years to know whether it's shite or not.
Okay, yeah,
Because these things don't become, hey, brilliant, you're part of the gang. It's very slow burn for me. It takes about 5 Christmases before I'm like, all right, yes, you're in rotation now. You've earned it. All right?
Just got to do a fucking apprenticeship under you first.
You got to do an apprenticeship. I'll give you a couple, Tom. There's a Ryan Reynolds comedy called Just Friends that we fucking love in this house.
Yeah.
It's a Christmas movie. He goes back to his hometown for Christmas with to strike up with the love of his life, Amy Smart. What do you call the lady from Scary Movies in it? Oh God, what's her name? Anna Faris.
Yes,
is in it. Fucking brilliant, wonderful movie. If you're listening to this and you're like, what the fuck will we throw on tonight? Just Friends. It's on Netflix. It's great crack.
It's an easy watch.
It's like one of these movies from like the early 2000s, like of the American Pie kind of school, where it was great crack at the time, and you're watching it going like, is that sexual abuse? It's probably not fucking great, but if you know.
Yeah, don't watch it with those goggles. Don't watch it with that.
Yeah, it walks a fine line every now and then. You're like, God, geez, that's a little bit.
I'm pretty sure you could find that in fucking Glenroe too if you went watching that. Don't watch it with a modern eye.
You can find it anywhere. But there you go, Just Friends. It's a decent movie. You should watch it, Tom. Okay, I'm gonna give you another one right here now. There's a home Christmas is all wonderful, Tom, and all the movies are wonderful, and everybody's having a great time. But there's a home invasion thriller called Better Watch Out, which is a nasty little bastard of a horror movie.
Really?
Don't Google anything about it. Don't look at any trailers. Don't look at nothing. If you fall across it, it's called Better Watch Out. It's from about 2016 thereabouts. And it's just this complete change of place.
I mean, Home Alone is a fucking home invasion movie.
And it sort of plays with that as well, but it's like a nasty, it's like what was that movie called? The Strangers. That kind of The Purge style, someone at your door, lock your doors, horror-ish kind of movie. Another one, if you're in that flavor, there's a movie called Krampus.
Seen Krampus,
right? That's like, okay, fair enough. Okay,
well, Krampus is I had heard about Krampus from my brother-in-law who lives in Germany.
Right, it's a real thing.
It's a real thing, but they like a gang of these lads dress up as Krampus, like you the time going down running around Pampeloma. They dress up as this horny devil fucking thing.
Yeah.
And it's okay for them to
devil.
Leather the fucking heads off people, and people will willingly stand at these towns that celebrate it, like typically smaller towns, like you won't find it in Munich or Berlin really, but these smaller towns, and you can go around leathering the fucking heads off lads dressed as Krampus.
This is it, you see. I mean, this is it. And the movie is not based around that.
No, it's not at all. But it's well worth a watch. It's
well worth a watch. It's well worth a watch. By all means, throw it on if you're looking at going like, not my, you know what, you might like it, you might not like it. But I'll tell you one thing, it's better than whatever the fucking Bill Murray Christmas special on Netflix is. I can promise you that.
I haven't seen it because I don't want it to taint my view of Bill Murray.
No. It ain't it, Tom. I'll tell you what is it. Here's another movie that's a bit firm favourite in the McBride Christmas household. It's gotten into rotation. Once you're in rotation in the McBride household at Christmas, you're in. You're made.
Yeah.
All right? Yeah. Once it's not a thing where it's like, I suppose we'll watch it at some time. Once you're into this segment where you're like, we have to watch this.
How do you stumble upon them? Like, do you read IMDb? Do you take, like, does somebody have to vouch for it?
If it came out and we watched it and all, like, that was all right. And next year around we're at nothing. And we're like, okay, yeah, fuck it. There's nothing else on. We'll throw that on. And then the next year around, it's like, you know what we'll do tomorrow night when we're at nothing? We'll throw that on. And then by year 4 or 5, you're like, okay, so it's the 20th. So if we haven't watched such and such by now, it takes a lot to get in, like I say. It's a movie called The Night Before, and it's got Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Seth Rogen, and Anthony Mackie. And if you like those kind of movies where Seth Rogen takes a load of drugs and has hallucinations and there's all that kind of thing, good crack. Good movie. All these, nothing I've talked about so far, Tom, is longer than 90 minutes. So, counts for a fucking lot.
Yeah.
So, there was me saying, there's no more good Christmas movies. There is. And if you know a good Christmas movie that you think me or Tom would like, stick it in the comments because you just don't fucking never know.
Yeah, definitely. Because I don't have a great patience. I wouldn't have the patience you have first. If I'm 20 minutes in and they have made no attempt to catch me,
hit the bricks.
You're gone. Oh, you're so gone. Like, oh, you're so fucking gone. I don't have it in me. I don't have it in me, and it's worse as getting. Maybe I should actually cop on and try putting stuff in rotation like you and see will they just fucking soak in.
You know what, Tom? Don't force it either. And I gotta tell you, and as much as there's place for movies, that you haven't watched, every now and then you have to accept that movies that you do watch are shite and don't watch them again.
I watched one last year, and it wouldn't be deemed a Christmas movie, but I kind of hated it the first time I saw it, but I watched it again, and it was okay. It was what the fuck is it? Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Is that a Christmas? Is that classed as Christmas? Is it
I think they were trying to bail for Christmas or something. There was something Christmas.
Hey, fuck it, throw it in the pile.
Yeah.
I like that guy. What do you call that guy? That's the lad from How I Met Your Mother, isn't it?
Yes, shaking. It was. I suppose it probably got notoriety because he got his cock out in it.
Well, this is it too.
He got his cock out,
and he's doing all right for himself. It has to be said.
Fair play.
But he's a tall lad, Tom. What can he do?
Yeah. Listen, I mean, whatever. It isn't for me to comment on these things.
There you go. What can you say?
Yeah,
all
right.
This big tool. What can I say?
You know what? I'll give it some. I'll try it. I'll try it because there's a few I know for a fact now that because with the little fella he's starting to kind of go, oh, that's the fucking thing I like the look of.
Yeah.
So we'll start getting into that, and I'm totally okay with it. Like that. I mean, there's the bankers. You know what I mean? We've mentioned Clark Griswold a bunch of fucking times.
The bankers are always going to be there, but every now and then you say to yourself, you know what? Do I have to watch Home Alone 2? It's kind of shite.
Yeah.
That's the one as a festive car rips up the ODR there.
Is that the one where Trump shows up in that one? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Amongst other things.
Yeah, it sucks balls. The only thing, to be fair, I'm a big Catherine O'Hara fan.
Yeah, but look,
you know.
So that's movies, Tom. I'm gonna throw a couple of songs at you here now because you've got your cast iron Christmas bangers there forever. Merry Christmas, everyone. Here's the thing with me and Christmas songs, Tom. I don't know the fucking names of them.
Yes. Yeah, because Jerry, for your formative years of these songs during the fucking mid 2000s, you were steamboats listening to majority of the fucking time,
right?
Or they were playing in the background in the shop you were working in,
yeah,
or you know what I mean.
You've never seen it fucking written down like the Paul McCartney song "Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time." I'm like, that's called "Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time," right? And a quick Google will tell you that it probably is. Talk among yourselves. But every now and then, I'll have to say, yeah, that's a pure example because it is called Wonderful Christmas Time. But every now and then I'll have to say to my missus, what's this song called? Or she goes, oh, that's the Christmas song. I go, yeah, but what's it called? Oh, it is the Christmas song. That's the name of it. Well, fuck me. What do you know about that? So we have a very sort of regimented playlist of what gets in and what doesn't get in. You got your Mariah Careys and all this kind of thing. And your mileage on Christmas songs, Tom, may vary, but you gotta admit there's some stone cold bangers in there. You gotta have your Slade, you gotta have your this. I'm not this kind of person that gets bent out of shape saying, oh, is that Frankie Goes to Hollywood song really a Christmas song? It's not really Christmassy. Yeah, fuck it. Play it every December.
Yeah.
Someone had the gall to ask me on Twitter when I posted the festive 5-ounce from Supermax, the festive 5-ounce burger from Supermax.
Right.
They said, what makes it festive? And all I could say was the truth. It comes out in December.
It's got it in the title. I can do no more for you.
What can I do? So there's that. Here's one for you, Tom. If you're sick of fucking Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You, I got a great one for you. Kelly Clarkson's Underneath the Tree. An absolute fucking stone cold banger that is rapidly becoming my favourite Christmas song of all time. As a grown-ass man of 41 years of age, I can finally turn around and go, that fucking Kelly Clarkson, ladsy. She's doing all right now. That lady is fucking going places. She, earned her winning spot in American Idol or whatever the fuck it was all those years back. She has come up with an absolute stone-cold banger of a Christmas song. And if you're sitting there turning it away when it comes on the TV because it's not one of the classics, go fuck yourself. Put it into rotation. Stick it in. That's going to be a great one. Here's another one, Tom. Ariana Grande has a song called I don't even fucking know. This is me. I didn't even know what it was called. But I was, for years it would come on the telly, and you'd be like, you know what? Fuck that. That ain't it. It's called Santa Tell Me. There we go. Look at this. You're there like, oh, it's a wee fucking poppy song, all this kind of shit. It's a banger. It's a banger, Tom. Maybe it's just that, you give these things 4 or 5 years and it takes 4 or 5 years to drill into your head. But mind you, that Justin Bieber Christmas song is 10 years old and I still fucking hate that. So,
yeah, I mean, it might be tainted by the fact that you dislike fucking Justin Bieber too. But also, I mean, I think there should be nearly a policy around Christmas because when I looked up some of the previous Christmas number ones, I was shocked because I was like, I get it. But you know what? should it not be a song about fucking Santa? Like, you know what I mean? Like Eminem's "Lose Yourself" in 2009 or 2002 was the Christmas number one in Ireland.
Really?
Yeah, look, come on, like, you know,
Huh?
yeah, like Rage Against the Machine in 2009 were Christmas
That's
number
when it
one.
started getting fucking stupid now.
You know?
when all the X Factor songs came in, whatever, you know.
There was some bird who I've never heard of. Like, I think I wrote down, is it fucking Lewis or something? That's she goes by.
Leona Lewis, right?
No. It's not Leona Lewis. It's like one word, like Louis. You know what I mean? She calls herself, and her song was I can't remember. Was it fucking Before You Go or something? I didn't even write it down, but it was an artist I'd never heard of. And people were. She was, and she literally sounded like everybody else's song who comes on early in the club. You're kind of going,
Right.
how the fuck? You know, Derek Kennedy was last year was Christmas number one, and it was, you know, it's Christ is going to make you cry anyway. Like, it sure shit isn't going to be fucking happy.
Yeah.
You know, let's be honest. Like, you go to Derek Kennedy, he's the new, what's your man's name that used Paul something or other used to play the fucking piano. Not taking anything away from Derek.
Paul Harrington.
No, he used to play the piano. Paul. Oh, it was like he took the piss out of himself after a while as to, you'll probably cry. I have a new song coming out. You'll probably cry. And that's, yeah, his song Giants. Okay, tone it down. Tone it down. Somebody's crying.
Right. And you notice that I'm not going to bat for any of these songs. I'm going to bat for songs that are actually,
but that's
like,
what I mean.
Actual Christmas songs. They got some jingle bells. They got some.
Isn't it kind of the dream to write that Christmas song? I mean, they made that movie.
That was always the thing, that if you wrote a Christmas song, you were set for life. I mean, Slade and Wizard and all those guys, you make it. But that's, like, you know, I don't know how it works these days with Spotify and all this kind of thing, where you're not paid by the physical record sold. No. You're paid by the play. So I don't know that Noddy Holder is still fucking raking it in, but I mean, like, it has to be. Jonah Louie would fucking, hey, Mr. Churchill, come on over here, all that kind of shit. You know, he's like, set
still. It'd be still nice to get any kind of check for work you did 50 years ago on a Monday, on a Monday in January. It'd be still nice, that check coming through the post regardless, like, wouldn't it?
Has to be said. And I'm running out of examples here, but definitely Macaulay Clarkson and Ariana Grande, bangers all, Tom. Throw them on the pile. If you're sitting there going like, nah, fuck that, and there's an awful lot of shit out there, but you find what suits for yourself. You know what I mean? Going forward into Christmas. Another thing I gotta tell you, Tom. The last one, I'm gonna hand it back over to you. Ghost of Christmas yet to come. All right. I've completely changed my diet when it comes to Christmas.
Oh,
yeah. Now I want to clarify. I haven't gone on a diet for Christmas.
Right. Just what you're eating has changed.
You know, if anything, I put on a good stone every single December.
Oh, you're not having the vegan nut loaf instead, like?
No. But there are things that I've just kind of, I've come to terms with things like.
Tell me this.
Quality Street ain't it, Tom.
No, are they? Fuck.
You know
they haven't been it for a long time.
And they haven't been it for a while. And I like my roses, and I like my miniature heroes. I like roses more than miniature heroes, even though people will say, oh, but I don't like the strawberry ones and la 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 and all this kind of shit. But, like, you know, miniature heroes are just little bars. You can get them any time of the year. There's an extra bang of Christmas with a tub of roses that you don't sit down to eat a hazelnut and caramel on an August afternoon. You just don't.
It's
so
100%.
And the tubs are smaller, but the prices are low. So do what you want to do. I don't know.
Yeah, you can get the stuff in deals now, for fuck's sake. Like.
All right. But here's the thing. I've changed my diet a little bit, that I won't, in actual fact, I won't eat all that much chocolate. I'll make my way through a tub of roses, don't get me wrong. I'll eat that, but like my tastes have gone a little bit more.
Your palate has
gone a little bit more savory, yeah. So I've come away from I'll be like, hey, give me as much fried things. Give me something wrapped in something. Give me a sausage wrapped in phyllo pastry, or give me an onion wrapped in batter. Give me just a yellow plate of food. But now I'm like, no, you know what? I haven't got to be a prick about it, Tom. I've gotten into me meats now, so I have.
Yeah, of course. I knew you were going to say it. Yeah.
Because
you're preaching to the choir here, for the love of Christ. You know what I mean? You like right now, you just said it, and all I want is a piece of chorizo. I'm like, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't know how to do it yet, because I'm just eating ham by the slice.
Come with me, my child. Come with me, my child. I will walk you down the avenue of many meats, many meats, and the things that go with them. from, I mean, peach to, there's so many little things I can, the excitement,
It's going forward and like, I was the kind of guy that would eat a big sandwich on a St. Stephen's Day, but you know what I eat now these days, Tom? I eat a quesadilla.
Oh, and excuse me.
Yeah,
but
just as much meat, only with more of a Mexican twist now, with a couple of Lebanos or some such.
I like it.
Bit of salsa there, Tom.
Do you know? Hey, tell me this. And it would be a tradition in some places, but I sure shit never had it around Christmas time. Was spiced beef.
Well, we have spiced beef in the house, yes, because my wife is from Dublin and her family would always have a spiced beef. And in 10 years, 12 years that I'm coming about the house, I've yet to warm to the spiced beef.
Same as that. I had it one year. I bought it in Cork because it's big in Cork. But for some reason, you see, it's traditional now and it's nostalgic and people love the notion of it and all that. But the truth be told, it was they call it a housewife's cut, housekeeper's cut. A lot of eye of the round. There'd be very little fat in it. Like if I was to describe it, it's like a segment of meat that is, we'll say, the size of a dustbin lid. You divide that into the segments really of the meats that count. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On one side would be where your fucking silver side and your top side would be, where there'd be a bit of fat through it, and that's where your steaks would typically come from.
Yes.
Whole t'other side is where eye of the round, they often call it, and they roll it in the spicy shit. They pump it as well to corn it. They make corned beef out of it too.
Yeah, it's corned and that's all fine. I'll take that all day, every day. But what they put into it is clovish in nature.
Yeah.
Which I'll give it another couple of years to warm to, but
I'll be honest with you. I tried it a couple of times, and it's interesting that your people didn't have spiced beef either. But city folk seem to have spiced beef. Yeah, no, never. I just needed to. Yeah.
So there you go, Tom. I've got a developing palate when it comes to movies and TV, and indeed in food, and some classics are sliding by the wayside. I will still, on the 23rd of December, turn around and go like, we don't have a box of Tato in the house. We gotta get a box of Tato in the house. Fuck's sake, you gotta hedge your bets here. I know I'm going to be eating fucking cheese and crackers on St. Stephen's Day, but just in case the notion takes me and I shit the bed, I need a tub of Pringles and a box of Tato, and they generally go uneaten into January. So we're kind of cutting down. We're learning to cut down on waste.
Oh, the amount of times in the last 4 or 5 years where come mid-January you find a 3/4 fucking gone through box underneath the stairs. You're like, great.
Well, what do you know?
What do you know? But it is, you know what, no harm. My palate, and I tell you, we had a frank discussion this year. Not last year, but the year before. I cooked Christmas dinner. I went to town on the turkey because I always figured turkey was too fucking dry. I mean, I made like a butter fucking thing to go under the skin. Yes. I fucking pumped it. I fucking basted it. I mean, and I had an argument with myself. I went, the work that has gone into this fucking thing, and it still only takes like grand.
Yeah.
Comparative to like some of the darker meats, like if you put half that work into a piece of lamb, suffering sweet Jesus, or beef or whatever, this is Premier League stuff versus grand.
That's my message to the listeners of the Tom and Jerry show. Moving into the future, open the doors a little bit.
Yeah. And I know people get pissy and there was like, oh well, you have to have a turkey.
You have to have the turkey, and you have to watch It's a Wonderful Life. Hey, maybe turkey is dry and It's a Wonderful Life is just okay.
Yeah. And heaven forbid you speak this sacrilege, but we can say it to each other. But
it's a podcast listened to by dozens of people, and I've had a couple of bottles.
Much like our last meal, much like our last meal episode. If people want to go listen to that, I'd really, really like barbecue. I'd really like barbecue.
A fucking plate of rashers, Tom.
Yeah. Just give me a big fucking sliced pan, a load of butter, and a fucking plate of rashers, and I'll work this out myself. You're grand. You tip away with your whatchamacallit, but you don't want to be that cunt either, because if it isn't you that cooked it, you're calling to Mammy's house. Or you just gotta go. Nah, look, the gravy saves a lot of blushes.
Gravy covers a lot of ills, Tom.
It does. It really does. That's great. Yeah, it's great. And you know what? You're 100% right. Is that we're moving with the times, and we will probably have to have a long discussion about, chartreuse, after this. And
Someday you'll scream me, Tom.
yeah, so
There's a long day coming.
we've got so many doors to open up, and thank God for value superstores that have come to this country from Germany, because they have brought with them a European fucking palate that people that would have never tasted an oak smoked apple fucking Gouda in their life, had they been thrown off their fucking head, are now having it here in Ireland.
Having it. So, Tom, with that in mind, let's hear your ghost of Christmas future, my man.
Our future has definitely changed. There's a bit of a throwback from the past. And you've been through this, Mill. You've got 2 kids, and we've a young fella. He's 2 and a bit now, so he's coming of age where he's like, oh, ho ho ho, and Santi, and he's like,
yeah,
and it's great. It's great to introduce him to Santi, and it's a whole world again where we're almost swinging back to going, I can't wait to show him all the Christmas movies and all the Christmas foods and all the Christmas things. I may leave off telling him about the pig farm, until later.
Right.
Or maybe I'll tell it to him like at age 4 to go, now think how lucky you are. We're not sending you out.
Yeah, kid, you've got 11 years before this is you.
But what I noticed, we went to visit Santi the other day, and the plan actually, originally what it was, is in the town of Cahir. It's a beautiful town, and right in the centre they have a tourist office, which is kind of up on a height, and there's a path to it. And the plan was to have Santi inside the window talking to people, because he's a busy man.
He is a busy man.
It's sliding things out the window at you and all. Now, as it turns out, there was plenty of space. We were in to see Santi and stuff like that, and there was great excitement. But almost like, wait a fucking minute. You were on every piece of basically media that's in my house right now. And now you're here in the flesh. So there was this cool standoff moment. And of course, Santi was as lovely as you'd imagine and everything else.
Yes.
And he stood there kind of like Mexican standoff, like, where's my fucking gun? I don't know what's the situation. Now there's Mrs. Claus is here as well. And there's elves. This is mind blowing. So watching that unfold was just, that situation was brilliant. But Santi now does Zoom and stuff like that.
Yes,
I know.
Santa gave our house a Zoom call last year, and to this day, that's talked about.
Go away.
More so than we went to meet Santa and got to talk to him in live person. The fact that it was a Zoom call was fucking mind blowing.
Yeah, because he's in your house and he's talking directly to you. It's
Mm-hmm.
So my thoughts. I'm like, well, where's Santa going to go? Because he's the ever evolving great elf himself.
Santa moves with the times. Yes,
this is it. I mean, people worry about apartments, and they were like, well, traditionally he came down chimneys, and you're like, well, those are the old stories, and what else are they supposed to tell? But obviously, he doesn't need a chimney. He doesn't need. He
doesn't. No,
at the door.
He'll get in through any heating apparatus.
It doesn't make a difference. He'll get in, and that's where I'm wondering where Santi goes with this. Like, will we get to a point where our lad can VR with Santa? Look around the North Pole and whatnot. He learned the other day about super lichen, which they feed the reindeer, which is the special one that makes them all fly and everything else. And I mean, he was like, things as there would have been a long time where, the special ops and whatnot of Santa, just like the CIA, would have been redacted. You wouldn't have gotten any of this inside info. And now we're getting more and more from Santa. He's more and more transparent. I'm just wondering where the future lies by the time, like, you look at the jump you've had in 7-8 years. Where is 7-8 years going to be, and what's the technology going to be around Christmas? That's where I'm kind of excited. I'm like, well, where's this going to go? Do you know what I mean? And where and how interactive is the idea of Christmas going to be? Like I said, I did a thing on a train playing, I played Scrooge on a train, and it was rudimentary, and it was old school, and that is needed too, and Panto is needed too, and all the rest of it. But I'm excited at the notion that you can slip on the headset.
I think it could be like, in 15 years' time, hey, let's give it 20 just to be hedged on the safe side, okay? When our kids have kids of their own, thereabouts, let's give it 30 years. Our kids have kids of their own. I reckon it's a case that a little boy or girl walks into the Jervis shopping centre to go see Santa, and they buy their ticket, and they queue, and then they walk through the door, and like Santa's not there, but there's like someone with a spike that just like rams it up into the back of their head like the Matrix.
Yeah.
And there's like ching, and they're like, all of a sudden they're transported to this world of the North Pole.
Yeah, I like the idea. I mean, if you were to believe Elon Musk, he's a year or so off developing the neural link, he's calling it, where the long-term development of it. The initial development of it is for people with spinal injuries and whatnot, but he figures the long-term will be a lot of people will take to the Neuralink and will allow them to virtually travel, have meetings. This is what I'm thinking. Have meetings with people in the three-dimensional world, albeit you'll be sitting in an office that has nobody beside you physically. Will kids be able to go visit the elves? You know,
without a shadow of a doubt, Tom, it is a long stretch from young McBride being taken to Dundalk shopping centre to see Santa. Santa had taken time out of his day to go to Dundalk shopping centre and see young McBride and bid him well.
I saw Santa in Clonmel in the early 1980s, and there's a photograph somewhere, and I desperately need to root it out because he had monkeys.
He had fucking what?
He had monkeys. He had actual, like the little fella on Friends. He had two of those trained with him. I mean, I didn't know Santa kept monkeys, but then again, Santa most likely can speak to all animals. He had two fucking monkeys. Now, there might have been an incident or something. I don't know, where he's not allowed to bring monkeys around anymore. But all I'm saying is, it was a pretty fucking wild ride.
Well, Tom, you fucking buried the lead on that one, pal. You're here talking about, like, will Santa be VR? I'm saying let's get Santa some fucking monkeys again.
Yeah, well, you know, fly, my pretties.
It's like, you know, turn around to kids and go, kids, do you want a variation on the tablet experience? Or do you want to get clawed in the face by a monkey?
There's a 1 in 100 chance one of them will flip out and bite your face off. But
we went to see Santa. My little boy went to see Santa a couple of years ago, and we had not brought him up to speed with the fact that he was going to see Santa and tell Santa what he wanted for Christmas, and that Santa would subsequently bring it at a later date.
Oh shit! Right, he thought the exchange was going to happen.
Was going to happen.
Didn't realize it had to be made. Right, okay.
That's on us. Okay, yeah. That's on us that we hadn't explained that to him properly. And Santa was lovely and walked us through it, and we were very helpful. But I got to tell you that the Santa that we went to see at the time is one of these experiences where it wasn't quite shopping centre based. We went to see Santa in a manor house. I dare say it, Tom. It was the same place you got married.
Yes, I believe it. Well, yes, because two of my friends actually worked the security, I think, at a similar event at it. They were like, is this where you got married? I was like, yeah, Santi visits there.
Santi visits there, and we brought the wee man to see it there, and there was a lot of elves there, Tom, and I got to tell you, for the elves that worked that event, they were a straight 50-50 mix of very Amdram locals who figured this was the break, and elves that didn't give much of a fuck, Tom.
Right, yeah. I talked about it earlier in the show. There's pros out there, Jerry, and you gotta know when the limelight hits your face. You gotta hit it.
And my little man, and again, like I say, he was very excited to see Santa because he believed the exchange was happening at the time. That's on us. We should have explained it to him more. But he was brought to before he got to see Santa, he was brought to a storytelling thing with Mrs. Claus, which I got to tell you wasn't a part of the Dundalk Santa experience that I got when I was a child.
Really?
But apparently someone said, yeah, let's bring them into a room and have a storytelling thing for half an hour with Mrs. Claus. And then let's go to another room and have another experience with some other fucking lackey elf. And then let's go to another room and have another experience with some other doofus elf. And my wee man was only little at the time. He was like, am I fucking seeing Santa? Or what here? Let's fucking move this along. Mrs. Claus, you're a lovely woman, but you're a very small part of the story here. Let's get this going.
Yeah, I can well imagine. I like that. Our lad, he had enough of. He wasn't. I think Santa was a whole pile of situation that he didn't want to deal with on the spot. So he was like, "Can we file this under? I'll come back to it." And he went straight to a polar bear that they had in the corner. That was. I mean, we had to, a negotiation.
Sometimes Santa brings polar bears.
The polar bear almost fucking got brought home. Because it was like, well, clearly this is for me. We've come to meet the big man. I've met him, said hello. That's his wife. Hey, how you doing? Can I have that? And they're so nice. They were unbelievably nice. I had to be the only bearer of bad news. I was like, no, that's not fucking going anywhere. That's fucking theirs. He's like, well, I think you'll find It's fucking mine now because I came for a
You
gift.
find I have my hands on it right now, Dada, so possession is 9/10 of the law.
But I'm just wondering, will we, where will it end up? Because of the evolution of all this, it is never going to end, but where will it be in 10 years? I'm giving it 10 years. Where will it be? What would be the interesting changes from Dundalk shopping centre for me seeing monkeys in Santa?
God damn, Tom.
I know. It was mental the more you think about it. To, let's be honest, I mean, a production that you went to out of that manor house.
A whole thing, Tom.
A whole production. Like
a whole thing.
Yeah. The drive and all, no doubt, was all done and nice and all that. Yeah.
And there was it was a whole to do, don't you get me wrong.
Hot chocolate and all that, no doubt, and all the rest of it. And
it was all very well and good. This year now we opted just to go very simple and go catch Santa when he was in the Jervis shopping centre rather than, pay a mortgage payment to see him in a fucking manor house somewhere, Tom.
I would like to add to the future too, and a suggestion for anybody, and I've made it part of Christmas. I mean, best of the Saw Doctors tend to put me in a really Christmassy mood. I don't know why. I think it's the idea of I used to love her. There's a part in it of, collecting, Christmas Eve, collecting.
Concern on Christmas Eve, yeah.
Yeah, and it goes straight into, Joy's Country, Cayley Band after that. There's an upbeatness to it that wouldn't be out of place at any
There's a festiveness to it.
Yeah, there is. That wouldn't be out of place at any Christmas party. I would suggest if it isn't on your Christmas playlist and you want to make a new one, you're going, what the fuck do we need? It doesn't necessarily have, wasn't peddled as Christmas. It'll definitely get you in the mood, and it blends in nicely with the rest of the buzz.
I'll tell you one, Tom, now, when we've strayed away from Santa, we've gone back to songs. There's a non-Christmas song, the most non-Christmas song, released in the middle of the summer. Nobody's ever claimed that it's a Christmas song. It's not like East 17. They're like, well, it's a Christmas song. But I'm like, it's the fucking Christmassiest song that has nothing to do with Christmas at all, ever, in any way, shape, make, or form. And nobody seems to throw it into the mix. And it's Valerie by Amy Winehouse.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's got actual fucking jingle bells in it. And why don't you come? And it's like dong, dong, dong. It's got the fucking big bells. It's got everything. It's got that big brass kind of thing to it. And nobody ever goes, hey, you know what? This fucking thing sounds kind of Christmassy. You know what? There you go.
Yeah. You know what? It would fit in all right because you'd have enough of the fucking drummer boy after a while. You're like, come on, sling it in there. I think it'd be all right. I think it'd be all right for me. I'm just interested to see here, the likes of Santa on Zoom and all the rest of where it will be, the Christmassy Christmas stuff, because obviously songs, food, and movies will be more or less the same thing. The only evolving thing I can see is the actual experience of
the
Santa,
big man himself,
the elves, reindeer, and all the rest of it.
No, he's going to have to find something other than coal to give out, Tom. It's not very carbon neutral.
That's a valid point.
I'm telling you.
He won't be any of that Colombian good stuff. It'll be the smokeless, little compact.
Yeah.
Or maybe a fucking briquette or something. I don't know.
Well, you know what? It'll come as a relief to my kids because they're eating nothing but coal this year. You know why, Tom? Because they listen to podcasts with rude words in them.
Yeah. Maybe I should put an explicit on this one so they can't get actually into it. Fair enough.
Well, they don't. In fairness, now they don't listen to it on their own. They're not kicking back.
I'm still amazed the notion that your parents or your kids would listen to like fucking the Fred Dibnah first and second episode.
I'll tell you, they didn't quite listen to the Fred Dibnah one. They loved the Action Park one because it was all about flight and shit. I say the little man, the little girl could give a fuck one way or another about us, Tom, to be honest with you. We don't have her money just quite yet.
Understood.
If he's listening, happy Christmas, wee man. Hopefully you get everything on your list. But
thankfully, and let's hope just keep racking up those ads.
Got to remember to carry your plates to the sink after you're finished dinner is all I'm going to say. Your wee man is still young, Tom. I'm rambling here now, but your wee man is still young. So he's of an age where you don't expect work out of him. Whereas my wee man is of an age where I do. Yeah,
I've been pushing it on, and at the moment it's fun. It's like, let's play the tidy up game. He's like, okay.
Yeah.
And he'll go along with it because he gets a big old pat in the back, and I shake his hand every time he does what he's supposed to do. It's like, okay, now where are we supposed to put your blanket? Yeah, you hang it up. Good. Shake his hand.
Whereas my wee man over lockdown, we crested the point, and nobody knows where it started, but it just came to a point where I was like, I'm emptying the dishwasher.
Oh, yeah. Listen,
Who is he? Do you know a plate from a cup, kid? Well, then you empty this fucking thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You listen. Just play the segment of me being fucking chest deep in shit. Just play that. Just go look.
Tom was emptying actual silos of pig shit.
Yeah. So, kid, get on board. Get on board. I'm going to march my lad literally over to that pig farm as soon as he has the fucking comprehension fucking gene built into his brain, maybe age 4 or whatever. Go look it. Don't want none of your bitching.
It's what it is, kid.
It's what it is. You'll be avoiding death if you don't empty that fucking dishwasher.
Well, what can I say, Tom? That is the ghost of Christmases past, present, and indeed Christmas yet to come. So all we have to do is do what Scrooge himself did after he had been visited by those 3 ghosts and fuck off out of here. We gotta wish everybody a very happy Christmas. Say, hey, you, here's one with the Christmas Carol, Tom. Rambling again here. But here's one with the Christmas Carol. He sticks his head out the window on Christmas morning and says, hey, you kid, did they sell that turkey over in the butcher's window? And the kid goes, no, they didn't. Okay, well, tell them to fuck that out, because that's really the salmonella right now.
That's right, Todd.
Also, what kind of fucking shit butchers doesn't sell their prime, thing? Also, Scrooge, I gotta tell you, just word of advice for anybody that's watching that, you don't want display turkey, okay?
Never want to display turkey. No.
Turkey.
No,
all right?
no.
Let someone else buy that. You want a turkey from the back, all right? But we have to say, I have to say, happy Christmas, Tom, to you and your family, and happy Christmas to all the wonderful fine folks of the Tom and Jerry show. We'll probably be back in the new year.
Yeah,
who fucking knows, right?
Who knows? But look, if this is your very first time, hit subscribe, because look, for nothing else, have a gander back. It's during the Christmas. You're going to get a bit withered to listen to the same fucking stories from everybody. We have a lot. We have people going through the back catalogue. There's a lot back there. There's like 6 seasons back there. There are plans in place for season 7. So look, if you hit subscribe, you will find out. Do follow us on the usual platforms, i.e. Twitter and Instagram. Tom and Jerry Show will find it. Jerry is very good at updating things, so he'll keep, things like spice beef, stuff like that, to get an opinion rolling.
If you've listened to this episode and you're like, what's that? Yeah, we'll probably throw a link up to it on the socials. As Tom says, at Tom and Jerry Show, or at Jerry McBride, at Tom and O'Mahony, will get us all. If you want to write a letter to Santa and you're at a loss as to what to say that you want, you're saying that, I want an X and a surprise. Don't say and a surprise. Say you want season 7 of the Tom and Jerry Show.
Yes.
Okay.
That nothing will put a fire under our hole more than messages from people, i.e. under the post, wherever you find this. Or if you can leave a comment on whatever platform you're on, whether it's Apple Podcasts or I think the odd one like Stitcher, maybe Acast are allowing it now. A couple are. If not, screen grab it, tag the show on whatever those 2 platforms, either one of those 2 platforms, and just that'll let us know. If
you are yourself a jolly old elf with a belly like a bowl full of jelly and you're looking for a podcast to listen to while you jet around the world delivering presents to boys and girls, there are better podcasts than the Tom and Jerry Show. But if you listen to them all, fuck us on. Who knows? You throw us on when you're around in Australia on the back leg there. You know what I mean? We'll fill that back hour, so we will.
Honestly, some of our drunkest ever are really, really worth listening to. I swear.
Other than that, Tom, what can I say? Have a happy Christmas.
Have a happy Christmas, everybody.